So every single time my students come to me, I ask them, what's 1 plus 1? 2. What's 1 plus 1? 2. So when you have a cell direction and a cell equilibrium, and then you have a confirmation on that cell level, do you sell or do you buy? I sell, sir. Okay, now what if it breaks? The next time if it comes again, do you sell? Yes. Do you sell? Yes. Do you sell? Yes. And eventually that adds up. So 1 plus 1, the answer that you must always answer is 2. No matter what kind of outcome comes up. It's not about how often you win or lose. It's about how much you win when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. And when I'm wrong, I lose so little. But when I'm right, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You made some good money now, right? So, how does somebody grow an account the way you did it? All right, folks, if you don't remember this face and you're a fan of Malaysian SNR trading, then you're in for a treat today. We've got Mr. T in the house. He was actually on the show 3 years ago, didn't show his face at that point, and now he's ready to come on and show us who he really is. I think you got a lot of flack last time because you didn't show your face, but here you are. Welcome back to the show.
In the flesh. There's nothing to hide. If people come to me and ask, where's the track record? Gladly. I'd love to just, boom, 100K. If people ask me, how many people have you helped? I have at least a few hundred people that's willing to say something good in my name. So genuinely, I'm online this time and I don't have anything to hide.
Well, look, anyone that's, and it was funny actually, because the story around why you were, I think people were going, like, look at his apartment, this guy can't be a good trader, blah, blah, blah. And you basically were made to live there in that place you were sponsored to live there. I was. Educational purposes, right?
Yes. At the time, I was taking a master's degree in electrical engineering from UCL. And, people were saying that, if this guy has $1 million, why is he living in his mom's basement? Well, I had to do that because it was the housing provided by my government. But here we are. This is my little Dubai apartment. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Yeah. If I could bring this camera outside, you could see the Burj Khalifa out there. So we're not doing too bad. Okay. So we're not in our mom's basement anymore.
You haven't got your dressing gown up on the door and all that sort of stuff. So, hey, look, it's great to have you back on board. And what we're going to do is dive into this, the whole trading thing. So 3 years ago, I know you were trading, you gave a little bit of insight into what you were doing, which was around, there were trend lines involved, Malaysian SNR, and you were taking, I believe, like a kind of 2-to-1 risk to reward and having a run a go, however far it goes. Do you want to give some insight into like how things have changed and transitioned since then, what your approach is and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure, honestly.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right. Get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free. And all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below.
Okay, so it's actually pretty simple. The market, especially gold, has been insanely volatile. Like I used to have 20 pip stop losses, but right now, I need much bigger stop losses. And so instead of like putting a fixed stop loss, I put a stop loss based on structure. And the thing so here's the thing, right? There's ICT, there's SMC, there's whatever, right? But I choose SNR, and it's not your stupid support and resistance, okay? It's much deeper than that. There's equilibrium levels, there's levels in confluence and confluence and confluence. And I realized that actually the only thing that matters in order to increase your win rate is just confluence. If things stack upon each other, then your win rate just gets higher. And frankly speaking, trend lines are something that are pretty subjective. One guy could pull a trend line from here, another guy pull a trend line from there. And I don't like ambiguity inside my trading. So I now switch to just pure SNR, pure level determining. And at the end of the day, I want to say something controversial. But ICT, SMC, whatever you're looking at, they're all just patterns on a chart. There is no real way to really determine where the big player orders are unless you like have a Bloomberg terminal or something. There is no way for you to look at the raw charts and determine if there are actual big orders there. They're all just patterns. So at the end of the day, that's exactly what I'm doing. I see a unique pattern that happens that happens often enough for me to be profitable, and I hit it, and that's it. So no more trend lines, just equilibrium levels, a bit of storyline, and it's actually very simple. Market structure. If a level that isn't supposed to break starts breaking, then you're in for a direction change. It's that simple. And
Yeah,
I
so
would love
I
to
like what you're
share.
saying. I like what
Sorry?
you're saying around confluence. I like what you're saying around confluence. I think, I mean, I actually touched on it with a previous guest, and I hadn't heard it that much for. I mean, I've done like almost 400 interviews, maybe even more. I don't even know now, but very few traders talk about confluence, and the ones that do tend to be the ones that are better than the ones that don't. The ones that don't, I've seen them come and go. They come with a strategy, it works for a bit, and then all of a sudden it falls off a cliff because they haven't really built in the confluence. So I think confluence is a big thing, and I understand where you're coming from around those trend lines as well. So yeah, you do want to have a repeatable mechanical way to do trend lines
That's
if
it.
you're going to do them, because yeah, there's trend lines everywhere, and you've got to find that mechanical way.
I have three pillars of trading. Very important confluences that decide my trades basically. Direction, level filtering, and confirmation. Direction will basically decide whether I am selling or I'm buying. Okay. So once direction has been confirmed, I'm like, okay, people call it daily. People, some ICT traders call it daily bias. I call it like what storyline we're in right now. Okay. And then I'll talk about this more in depth in like when in the video I explain my strategy. But let me just outline it. Direction, T level filtering. So now that you know whether you're buying or selling, which level is the absolute best for you to buy or sell? Which level? You got to pick. You got to pick and choose. There are very specific criteria. And then at those levels, you have at least like three valid levels. Okay, now you have three valid levels. At those levels, does a confirmation happen? And that confirmation is my final criteria for me to get an entry. And that alone has made me consistently, I could pull up my MetaTrader right now and I made like 8K yesterday. And that's if I made 3 trades. And yes, my win rate fluctuates every now and then. But the thing is, I go by Charlie Munger, because Charlie Munger said something very interesting. It's not about how often you win or lose. It's about how much you win when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. And when I'm wrong, I lose so little. But when I'm right, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the risk to reward. We'll get into that in a second. It's interesting what you're talking about there around the levels, though. So I think, I mean, for me, I've always struggled with. I mean, I know where the levels are. Where I struggle is waiting for the levels to get hit, and what I tend to find is they get hit when I'm asleep, because I'm in New Zealand, mate. I'm not in New York or London. I'm not in the good sessions, so I'm asleep during the good sessions. How do you make sure you get I mean, you're in London, so I mean, how do you make sure you get those levels when they hit, and you're there to execute on the tighter stop, bigger risk to reward trade? Now, we talk a lot about strategy and mindset here on the Trading Nut podcast, but that doesn't really matter unless you've got the right environment to trade in. So if you're struggling with a prop firm, then I recommend checking out our partner, propfirmmatch.com. These folks have got a massive database of prop firms, got them all verified there with customer reviews. It's completely impartial and transparent. It's worthwhile checking them out. There's a coupon code and link in the description that's going to help you save some money at checkout too.
First of all, I am a nomad now. So like right now I'm in Dubai. Sometimes I'm in London. Sometimes I am in Malaysia. Sometimes I am everywhere. So here's the thing about my strategy. Sessions are good, but sessions only determine volatility, in my opinion. I do believe that the market moves about the same rules, more or less, throughout the entire day, in my opinion, just with less volatility and less action. So if, let's say, I couldn't trade the New York session, I have to trade Asia. Again, I have so much proof that the Asia session actually works very well with my strategy. And it's all about level determining, actually. So I don't mind if when I go to sleep, I wake up, some trades were, I didn't take some because I know the next one will be coming. And I do not care about sessions at all. I only care about news.
I mean, okay, we'll touch on that as well. So it's interesting you say that because I've kind of noticed the same as well. Like, so even you can get some good moves in Asia, right? You can get some good moves, and a lot of them do start. And it's like, so I mean, you might be waiting to London and go, okay, the good moves start in London or start in New York or whatever it is. But the reality is, you can get a lot of good moves in Asia. Sometimes, yeah, it's flat and it's average. So how do you determine which market you're going to trade?
Which market I'm going to trade, as in like which pair?
Yeah, which pair?
Okay, so I'm a loyal man. Gold all the way. Here's the thing. Lately, I realized that a lot of traders are starting to get funded, and they trade NQ, Nasdaq, right? And I want to ask all those NQ traders, if you guys are watching, could you guys execute with the same amount of profitability? Like, you know how Kobe Bryant said to Kanye West, he was like, can you be a different animal and the same beast? So can you
didn't know that.
Yeah, but can you be a different animal and the same beast? Meaning that, can you do something else with the same amount of efficiency?
Right.
Yeah. So like, the thing about these NQ traders, can you use the exact same strategy on GPB, JPY and be profitable? You might need to switch a bit, right? Because the data is very, very different in every single pair. So I would advocate you to just trade one singular pair, because you'll know how it moves at like the back of your hand. I just trade gold all the way, like a lot of Malaysians.
Are you setting alerts as well on gold?
So I used to set alerts when I was tryharding, as in like I'm trying to get trades as much as possible. But I've made a lot of money now, and I'm a chill guy. I'm so chill now. So I wake up, I try to determine a direction, and if if I see something coming close, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stare at my phone for a while, stare at my laptop for a while, my PC for a while. I'm like, are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? And most of my trades are taken on the phone. Like, I don't see a reason as to why you can't take them on your phone at all. Bro, just sit down. Like, you have your phone here. Turn it on. Turn on MetaTrader. Try your best to get a trade. Okay, that's not that hard. That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the thing, look, I mean, I know that I couldn't do it just purely because of the way that I get into the trade, and my stops are actually real tight. So I've got to use a bit of software to get me in, just to make sure the stop's there, the risk is there. Otherwise, I don't have time. I mean, what's quite interesting is the fact that you've, you talk about, like, you've made some good money now, right? So how does somebody, and I'm guessing, and I believe you didn't do the prop firm route, how does somebody go down the how does somebody grow an account the way you did it? If they're going to replicate what you did, what would be the trick to do it? And can you give us like an insight into maybe how many trades you have to win, and is it just the size of the winners that have really sort of accentuated things, or what was it?
Oh, okay.
Because I know you Malaysian guys are like, really, you've got a completely different risk profile to almost the rest of the world. And I've heard it from back in the day where there was a guy that he was part of a community that I was with, and he went from like $1,000 and he grew up to 100,000 in a very short period of time, maybe 3 weeks, right? Risking a lot of money.
I don't get why people think that's impossible.
Yeah, well, I know, but he was risking a lot of money, right? Then he drew it all down within a week and had like, I think it was 3,100 left in his account. So he took 1,000 to 100 and then drew it down to $3,000. But then after that, I mean, I don't even want to mention it here because it was just ridiculous. He ended up getting up to, I think the next run from that 3,000 was 6 weeks, and he got to $1 million. And then after that, it just got ridiculous. So I don't even want to say it. But he was also Malaysian. So what's the trick for you guys
We're built different. You know how you know how the Pacific Islanders, the Maori people, they're just so good at rugby. I just
Yeah.
think that I just know a lot of Malaysian people who are insanely good at trading, but they just don't have the courage to sit down here with you and actually tell their story. So let me tell you a story of my own and a few stories from my friends. Um, but first of all, this isn't financial advice. This isn't financial advice. Don't follow this if you don't want to follow this. But if you do, you're well on your way to ditching prop firms. Okay, so I'll give you two routes. What you're going to have to do is you're either going to be a normie and work a regular job and then get money from there and get capital. Okay. And then the second one would be you getting funded, getting payouts, and then you get capital. Step one, get capital. Okay. Once you're done with that, step two, divide that capital. Let's say you have 5,000 bucks. 500, 500, 500, 500, 500, 500. Okay. And you got to know that, okay, 5,000 is your big pool of money, your big bank. Okay. And if your win rate is high enough, and the way I trade is that I risk like 20% each trade. Okay. I risk 20% each trade when I'm trying to truly grow an account. And then I'm trying to get a runner. And it works extremely well for me because I'm very rarely wrong with direction. Okay. And the thing is, even if I'm right with direction, it can still eat my ass, could bite my ass, because that's what trading is. There is no 100% win rate strategy. There's just good probabilities and bad probabilities, right? So, all you have to do is risk a huge amount, 20%, okay, from that divided 500, and then just run it. And if it goes double, you bring it back into a big bank, which is 5K. So incrementally, it grows. And sometimes you could grow more than a double, because you don't underestimate the power of putting a big lot size and then just holding it to hell. You get a lot out of it. And that's exactly how I trade. Last week alone, I turned like 4K to like 20 something K. And just doing that. 4K.
So can I ask a question on that before you carry
Yes.
on? So let's go. You've got $500. You're risking $100 on that first trade.
Yes.
So you might so you're going to have a runner going. So what would be your typical first TP? Would it be just to cover the break even, or?
I would actually TP when I'm not the kind of guy who does take profits based on technical analysis. I'm the guy who does take profits based on account percentage growth. And if my account grows halfway and I'm like, okay, I'm satisfied with the money, I'll take it. And people overcomplicate taking profits actually. And if your take profits are extremely rigid based on the charts, brother, you're in for a hard time, because not every single trade you take will go to that TP. So me personally, I love to take profits based on my instinct. If it's up 50%, got it. It's mine now. Now I get more capital to risk. And if it's up or either that, or let's say I'm buying and then there's like a good sell setup. Yeah, we're going to close the buy and sell instead. Because why would you have a buy position and a sell position, a long position, a short position at the same time, right? It's weird. So, so two ways. Either it's weird. Who do you think you are? Batman? Bro, you won't get that. I see when I see a trader who has a buy position and a short position at the same time, I know they're a fucking noob. 100%. Or they're just trying to show off their.
If you've got a short position and a buy position, you're either like some kind of savant, or you should be exiting your buy at profit and then going short.
Exactly, because you don't know how far the short will be next. It goes, you don't know that. So manage your accounts well.
So I'm just trying to get this clear in my head. So you've got your $100. let's say you said, you made half the account, so made 2.5 R, so you made $250 on that.
Yeah.
So are you leaving a runner on at all or not?
Well, a runner after making 250, yeah, of course. Because here's the thing.
And what percentage of that $100 would be the runner?
Actually,
on average.
Actually, I'm very undisciplined there. So once I put a big lot, I'm just holding it. Even if it goes to 200, 300%, so be it. Whatever. Because I'm very, very undisciplined when it comes to closing trades. But here's the thing. That's a question I don't really know how to answer, actually, because I do different things all the time. Once
right. So you don't have a standard take partials and let the runner go. So what about?
But here's one really good tip though: never change your lot size, ever.
Right.
So here's no matter how many times you lose. So let's say your lot size is 2 lots, and you're risking don't change your risk. Do not change your risk, because once you change your risk, it becomes much harder for, let's say you lose 20%, it becomes much harder for you to get that 20% back. So if you're risking 2K a trade, then continue risking 2K a trade every single time. Because I was in that route where I risked 2K and then I lost another 2K and then lost another 2K, and I was down to 4K left, right? Or 5K left. And I was so scared to risk another 2K. And then instead I risked $500. And because I risked that $500, it became a runner. And instead of getting 8K from that trade, I just got 2.5K. So here's the thing: never ever change your risk, no matter how deep in drawdown you are, because it just gets harder from there.
Yeah. And I think, the guys that are trading prop firms, it's going to be hard for you to do that because you've got other rules to kind of work around. So what about so are you compounding these accounts? So it gets to 2,000. So let's say you start with 500, it gets to 750. Yeah. Are you compounding that and risking 20% of that account?
I will compound that, yes.
But you're going to compound it based on the same lot size or a different lot size that's higher?
So when my account grows, my lot size increases but never decreases.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but if my account decreases, my lot size stays the same as if it was the same size. Yeah.
And are you still risking 20% on that higher?
I am, because at the end of the day, it's a very small percentage of the big piggy bank.
Yeah. Right.
But I recommend, so here's the other way to grow your account. Instead of just partitioning it into smaller accounts, why not just have a big account and just risk 5% each time? Okay, let me be honest with you. Can you actually lose 20 times in a row as a trader? Even if you're a monkey pressing buttons, you'll win at least 3 times. Right?
If you were rigid enough, I think I swear I've done it before where I've lost 20 trades in a row, and then the winners have been minute because I'm I've lost I've lost the plot, and I'm it's in profit, it's $1, take profit, we won a trade, yes.
Yeah. It's just you just want.
But yeah, you're right. It's unlikely you're going to lose 20 in a row. You can't be that unlucky.
Yeah,
you
can't be that unlucky. If I bet on red every single time, probably 20 times in a row, it will land on red at least 3 times, at the very least.
Yeah.
So the laws of the casino, there's no way. And if you actually trade the way I trade, which is I try my best to get huge runners, we're sorted. Because I recorded 2 weeks ago a 32R trade. 32R trade. Yeah, you heard that right. And I have the whole analysis inside my phone right now. So it's very possible. All you got to do is just get one huge runner and you're set for life. Your account's good.
And so what about the when do you stop and take that withdrawal?
Here's the thing. Rockefeller, someone asked Rockefeller. Rockefeller was the first ever verified billionaire. How much you have? a lot. How much more do you want? Just a bit more. There is no finish line. There is no
Yeah,
finish
that's the
line.
thing.
If I
Yeah.
need the money, I'll withdraw it, and then I'll try to keep growing. But here's the thing about brokers is that after you get to a certain amount of money, they either will limit your leverage to hell, or they'll basically just tell you to like have a certain deal with them, i.e. getting A booked. And when you get A booked, your lot size gets limited, your leverage gets limited. So at the end of the day, there are limits to all of this. So if someone tells you that they're risking 20% of a million, they're probably lying. Because that's irresponsible. It's irresponsible on like a broker standpoint and on an individual standpoint. No one has that kind of balls, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it is. Maybe back in the day they could do that. I don't know if they could do it now. Or can you do it from an overall position point of view? I.e., you can't risk it. 20% of a million. I don't even know how many lots that would be. Maybe 500
like 2,000
lots.
lots.
The lot size gets stuck, right? You get stuck at a maximum lot. But can you have multiple positions to get that overall?
No, because the broker I'm currently with limits me at 50 lots max.
Right.
Yeah. So like even if I wanted to, I couldn't put more than 50, and that's okay. So the thing about trading is that the best way to do it is first get rich from trading, like get money from trading. And then once you get that money, invest it into other places. Like you could get from 0 to 1. Well, not 0 to 1. You get from 1 to 100 in trading, and the rest, be like me and just invest in a lot of other stuff. Because genuinely, I feel like trading shouldn't be the end all be all, you know? It shouldn't be the end all be all. It shouldn't be the thing that turns you into a billionaire. It can't work that way, in my opinion. So get your money and get out of here. That's it.
Yeah. Some people have told me about like the fact that it's a trade-off of time versus money, right? So you're trading your time at the charts for money. You traded your time for a job. The difference is the amount of money you can make from the chart versus a job is variable. Then what you want to get is to that point where you're not trading your time for money, or you've got money coming in and the time is much less, and you don't have to sit at the charts every day and do that, which is what you're saying. So
I don't
going back to other traders out there who are obviously in your community and folks that you've come across, I mean, can you give us any insight into like what's helped them from a mindset point of view, or helped yourself even to get past some of the hurdles of just even sticking to a strategy?
Hey, if candlesticks still confuse you, they're costing you more than you think. My private mentor JJ's decoded 25,000 hours of trading into one better candlestick. Click the link in the description or visit tradingnut.com to watch the free video and grab the free guide.
Well, here's the thing. If it's worked in the past, it will work again. Okay? So all you have to do, the market doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Okay, the market won't give you the exact same patterns every single day. It won't give you the exact same candlestick size every single day. Hell, this face doesn't look the same every day anyways. Okay, so what makes you think like the market would be the same, right? No, nothing is the same. The law of nature is that everything doesn't repeat. Nothing repeats itself, but everything rhymes, right? So all you have to do is actually just figure out a strategy. Okay. Well, number one, find a strategy. Someone who has actual proof that he's done something with his strategy before, and has actual proof that it's transferable. So here's the thing. Find a strategy. So we're serious now. Okay. There are two types of people: good traders, good teachers. And the third one is a person who's a good trader and a good teacher. That's rare. And if you find those, keep them close. All you have to do is find a teacher, find a technique that when you backtest, it's verifiably profitable. And then lock in. That's all you need. Trading is just a mental game. Look at this, Rolly. Okay. Trading is a mental game. All you have to do is do the same fucking thing every single time. And the same thing. Okay, Cam, I have a question for you. What's 1 plus 1?
2.
Okay. So you got to play with me here. Okay. So what's 1 plus 1 again?
Yeah, 2.
Okay. No. What's 1 plus 1? Correct, by the way.
2.
No, just answer me. What's 1 plus 1? Just answer me.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's 1 plus 1? Yeah, I asked that question 4 times.
Oh,
What's
right.
1 plus 1?
2.
Okay, this time it's wrong. The answer is 647. Okay, now what's 1 plus 1?
2.
Okay, good. You're right again this time. So what's 1 plus 1?
648.
Wrong. The answer is 4078. Okay, now what's 1 plus 1?
2.
2. So if you answered 2, 10 out of 10 times, you'd have a 60% win rate. That's exactly how the market works. So
yeah.
1 plus 1 will equal to 2 every fucking time. Okay? And the thing is, right? The thing is, sometimes the answer is 1,487,000, and people are trying to find why exactly it's 1,847,000,
Yeah.
and you get into this like stupid fucking hole, right? This stupid hole, and you're never gonna get out of there because you're trying to find out something that's unexplainable. So if it happens more often than not, then you have a strategy. That's literally how it works. So every single time my students come to me, I ask them, what's 1 plus 1? 2. What's 1 plus 1? 2. So when you have a cell direction and a cell equilibrium, and then you have a confirmation on that cell level, do you sell or do you buy? I sell, sir. Okay, now what if it breaks? The next time if it comes again, do you sell? Yes. Do you sell? Yes. Do you sell? Yes. And eventually that adds up. So 1 plus 1, the answer that you must always answer is 2. No matter what kind of outcome comes up. The market is not rational.
I love that. That's awesome. I think we'll end the show on that. That's a fantastic way to end it. I've not heard of that scenario before, or that way to think about probabilities before. But guys, please take that on board and walk away with it as the takeaway from this interview with Mr. T. Hey, we're going to jump on a chart as well and see what you do. So before we do that, what's the best way for folks to find out more about you?
Well, I have Instagram. And on my Instagram, I post my trades all the time. Fully transparent. It's a live account. You can see my swings. You can see my losses. You can see my students. You can see everything about me. Sometimes I even tell you my entire fucking strategy. Hey, the thing about knowledge is that the more you give knowledge, the more you get. And I have been talking to the craziest. Hell, shout out to Powell, shout out to TJR, shout out to PB Blake, shout out to Julian Petrolis. You guys are the GOATs. And you guys taught me one very important thing. The more you give, the more you get. You guys have insane audiences that actually love you because number one, you're profitable. Second, you share some good sauce. And I'm looking to do that. I'm looking to actually be a light in the world. I'm looking to actually share actual positive trading knowledge with a positive vibe. And so come follow me on Instagram. Come follow me on YouTube, RFT channel. My Instagram is generic, RFT. Come find me there and get enlightened. You don't even have to pay me, bro. Come there. It's free. Come, okay?
There we go. All right, folks. To find that link, what you're going to need to do is jump down below the video or in the podcast description. We'll put a link to his show notes page. In there, you'll find all of the links he's mentioned, YouTube and Instagram. Whilst you're down there clicking around, hit subscribe, like, and that notifications bell, and we'll see you in the next video with him.